It writes just like a normal pen does, but this one's rubber. Also, but you've never seen this before. What's up, guys? If you've been following along with our mini detailing series on this BMW E36, you've seen that Octavio is learning the proper steps of how to detail his car, starting with the wash process, moving on to the interior, and today we're going to show you how to properly clay it, as well as remove any kind of contaminants in the pores of the paint to correctly prep it for polishing, as well as adding some kind of durable layer protection. We're hoping to apply Carbon Flex C9. Now, obviously Octavio's not here with me today. He's very busy doing some other things, and it's also very busy here in the shop, so bear with us with any noise. But for today's purposes, I'm going to show you guys who are new to detailing how to clay, what a clay bar is, and then also how to polish. So we're going to jump right into it. Down here we have a medium clay bar, which I selected because this car, it's been sitting outside and it has a lot of fallout in the paint. It's got a lot of contamination, which gives it a rough feeling. I can even show you real quick, just a quick demo. That's a lot of fallout, rail dust, contamination that are stuck in the pores of the paint, giving a really rough feel and also a rough look, because as you look at it, you can see all these tiny little brown spots all over the paint. So a clay bar, what this does is it absorbs it and pulls it out of the pores to give you a really slick finish, but it also preps you for polishing or if you're going to apply any kind of coating. And I've also chose the medium because a light's not going to do it. An OG might do it, but I want to be for sure. And a heavy is just a little bit too abrasive for what we're doing today. So I've already cut my clay bar into 3 pieces. This isn't a necessary step, but I like to do this just so that I have a fresh piece if I need one. Also, once you knead this up, this is just about the right size to fit into about 3 fingers. So you see we just have a small piece here, because if you drop this, it's just like a piece of gum, you have to throw it away. So rather than throwing the entire bar away, you just throw a small piece. You can see it's very sticky, but this is what helps you remove any kind of contamination. It extracts the fallout in the pores. And we're also using some clay lubricant, which is designated for your clay. A lot of people ask if you can use soapy water, which, yeah, I guess in a pinch you could use it, but it's really not designed for a clay bar. It doesn't have any kind of, rejuvenating features that help your clay bar last as long as possible. Or if you're in a pinch, you can also use a quick detail spray, which helps you absorb and also lubricate the surface so you don't mar it or scratch it. And I'll just spray the surface, spray my hand, and also the bar. We're going to start right here and just work back and forth. And it's going to feel kind of rough at first, or it's going to sound rough. But as you pull the contamination out of the pores, you're going to feel it get really smooth, and the bar is just going to start gliding across the surface. You'll also see that there's a brown runoff. That's probably just the filth in the paint. But you want to get it as clean as possible before you do your clay bar, and also you want to get it really clean before you do any polishing, because anything that's left in the pores, the junk in there, it's going to start pigtailing or marring the paint, so you're not going to get the best finish. It's all in the prep work, so if you're going to do something, do it right and overdo it. That's why do your proper steps, take your time, and get it done the right way. You can see here we got this runoff here, but it's pulling out the fine material that was stuck to the surface, and it clings to the bar. It'll give you that kind of brown effect. And then this is what we're going to repeat on the same process over the entire vehicle. People ask me if there's a special clay bar for different color vehicles, which in fact they all are safe for any color vehicle. You can use it on painted surfaces, you can use it on glass, you can use it on chrome, anything that's basically painted, shiny, or clear, to remove anything that's stuck on the surface, such as fallout or overspray or basically anything else that you want to remove. And then this is again going to help you prep your car for the next step in the detailing process. So I've just finished clay barring this BMW. Now a lot of people want to know what a clay bar necessarily does, and again, all that's doing is pulling all the junk out of the pores of the paint. Some people have the misconception that that removes scratches and swirls, when in fact it doesn't. Also, when you're using a clay bar, you want to make sure that you're covering the entire surface of maybe your palm or your hand, and also using plenty of lubrication so you're not marring the paint. Again, marring is it's inducing scratches and swirls, very fine scratches, and that gives your car very cloudy, or it gives a tiger striping effect. So taking your time, the extra precaution with plenty of lubrication, this way you're not adding more damage to the vehicle. But now we're going to move on to the polishing step, and over here I have our Torque 15DA, which has a 15mm throw. because this car has a lot of flat panels, so this will cover plenty of surface, and it's also got a 5-inch backing plate and a 5-inch pad, so I'm getting the perfect combination of covering the right amount of space while also giving myself some control. And to start off, I'm going to use V36, which is a cutting polish, so it's got a very fine abrasive, but it's also going to finish off very nicely. So in some cases you can use this as a one-step, but if you really want to jewel your paint, come back with a white pad in V38. This will really just clean up any kind of hologramming, any final scratches, and bring out the real shine of your vehicle. Just add 5 dime-sized drops to our pad here. And I've already taped off the rubber and plastic trim pieces that could stain easily. This is just a precaution again because I don't want to add any more work for myself. But if you guys choose to run it without, putting any kind of tape on there, you like to live dangerously, that's up to you. But I recommend taping off or removing anything that could stain easily because it's going to create more work for yourself and it can be permanently damaged. And we'll just move over here back to where we started claying. I'm going to blotch it out in a small section about 2 foot by 2 foot. And if you're new to polishing, what you want to do is work in one small area at a time. Don't work panel by panel. And also what you want to do is keep your machine completely flat at all times. What I like to do is I'll put my hand here just underneath the analog screen. That'll keep my hand from tipping one way or the other. And also you want to make sure you're not diving one forward or backwards too much. So this is going to prevent the pad from spinning. It'll stall the pad, and in fact you're not going to be doing any polishing. It's just going to be wasting your time necessarily. You want to make sure that your ridges or the lines on your pad are still spinning. That's how you know you're actually correcting. And also you're using about the weight of your hand. So you don't want to put too much pressure where it will one, stall the pad, or it's creating a lot of heat which could damage the paint. But also you want to make sure you're moving consistently about 1 inch per second. This way you're moving just nice and smoothly. That's your arm speed. And also you want to make sure that when you're spreading it out, it's on the lowest speed setting. And then when you're on your highest speed setting, that's how you're going to do your polishing. So like I said, we're going to do the lowest speed setting to spread it out on this small section, and then we'll bump it up to the highest speed setting. This way you can remove those scratches and swirls, any kind of water spots, bird stain etching, and then also to really bring out the shine. So once the polish has gone basically clear or translucent, you want to pull off and take a clean microfiber towel and then buff off any excess. This way you can check your work, see if you need to go more aggressive or less aggressive. But in this case, it looks like we've brought a lot of that shine out of it. It has a beautiful yellow paint job already, but like I said, we're getting this car ready for a coating, so we want to make sure that any kind of scratches, any kind of imperfections or any staining has been removed, because once that coating's on there, it's going to be trapped underneath there for the life of the coating. And also that's going to give you just a nasty overall effect. So coatings need to be applied directly to bare paint. It's best to do it right after polishing because that's when the paint is going to be completely smooth and imperfection free. And then also you can layer on your favorite glaze, sealant, and wax after it's cured to the surface. So I'm going to repeat the same process over the rest of the vehicle, probably follow it up with V38 just in case to, again, really bring out the jeweled paint, and then we can move on to the coating process. Now that I've just finished polishing off this beautiful BMW, you can see that we have this really rich yellow paint job. It's basically scratch and swirl free. Obviously there's still being some deeper ones because the car is about 20 years old, but for the most part we've brought back a lot of the life to the paint, but now we want to protect it using Carbon Flex C9. This is a carbon coating that we can apply to anything that's painted on this vehicle to help resist water spots, repel UV rays, and also prevent kind of scratches and swirls during the wash process, while also adding some more candy gloss. And this is going to last several years, giving you a long-lasting layer of protection. And you can also add longevity to that by adding your favorite glaze, sealant, and wax. And basically what we're going to do here is apply it to our micro suede towelette. And to do that, we're going to take the cap off the bottle, and we'll invert it so we're not spilling it all over. And you want to work in a well-ventilated area. And also, since it's kind of warm in here today, it's going to cure pretty quickly. It basically starts bonding to the surface almost immediately, so it doesn't take hours or even minutes really for it to start curing. So we're going to let it bond and cure to the surface for about 5 minutes. Less if it's hot or warm or more humid. But for today, we'll demonstrate using 5 minutes. And I'm using a overlapping about 50%, just like we were doing with the polisher. This way we're ensuring there's no high spots, and we're also coating the entire surface evenly. You can use a cross-hatching pattern to make sure you're not adding any high spots, and this will also even out the product. It kind of helps it spread a little bit thinner too. And we'll just work our way around the vehicle. If you are in a time constraint, or if you're working in a warmer climate, maybe you work panel by panel, such as doing the hood, letting haze cure, buff it off, and then move on to a fender or the door, and so on and so forth. But you can see here a little bit goes a long way, and all you're looking for is that fine film that's on the surface of the vehicle. You don't need to build this up or give it a very thick coat, just a very fine spread, even little barrier, and then give it time to cure and then buff it off. So I'm going to finish doing this, and I know you guys are excited to start coating your own cars, so you can check out these products on our website, chemicalguys.com, or at your local detail garage. If you like this BMW, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and drop your comments down below on future videos, and we'll see you next time right here in the detail garage.